they say that they are helping the Muslim community through this bill, but on the contrary, they are helping all the encroachers. The WAQF has lost 84,000 acres for the various land reform acts. 1,000 acres of land is totally under dispute, out of which 4,500 is with the farmers dispute. The rest of the land, which is 13,000 acres, odd acres, is disputed with general people. And in that, 95% are Muslims. On every South Indian state, they want to push Hindi through NEP and through other means. They say that Hindi person might become mayor of one of these corporations, non-Kannadiga might become. Right? So see the double standards of BJP.
So today we have with us Rizwan Arshad, MLA of Shivajinagar constituency and Congress leader. So welcome and thank you for speaking to South First.
Thank you. Thank you, Rashmi.
So, sir, you were part of this protest, silent protest that happened last month against the WAQF Amendment Bill. Can you tell us what was the protest all about and what does it mean to the community?
See, it's very simple. The Constitution gives the right to every community to manage their own institutions, right? So, the Muslim community, as per the Constitution, has the right to manage its own institution. Through this WAQF Amendment Bill, the government is trying to snatch our rights to manage our institutions. One. Two, they say that they are helping the Muslim community through this bill, but on the contrary, they are helping all the encroachers who are claiming over the WAQF land by diluting this whole act, right? My thing is, if your intention is to dilute this act, help the encroachers, be clear. Why are you telling that we want to help the Muslim community and bringing a bill which will actually work contrary to their interest, right? So that is one. And the government's intent is very clear when you read the act. The act intends to open wounds, create disputes amongst various communities, and create an environment where disharmony and communal unrest will take place through this act. Because the way they have formulated this act, this will lead to civil disputes, right? Between Hindus and Muslims and some other communities.
Correct.
So a government, a responsible government, should always try to maintain harmony, create an environment where all the communities coexist peacefully. Here, this is the government which is trying to create a situation where the communities should come into confrontation. So that is what we are opposing. And the properties of the WAQF are donated by the community elders for the community benefit, right? And the government wants to now say that you cannot manage your institutions, we'll manage it for you. Then you bring in a law amendment where it will dilute first you are diluting the powers, then you are putting non-Muslims, we have no objection. But Constitution mandates us, like how it has empowered the Hindu community to manage their own institutions, Christian communities to manage their institutions, Sikh communities to manage their institutions, like that Muslim communities are entitled to manage their institutions through the Constitution. And if today this happens to the Muslim community, will it stop it here? Will it not go to other communities? So that is, we are fighting for our constitutional rights.
Right. The Supreme Court has interfered here. They have said until May 5, the central government is not supposed to make any new appointments to the Central WAQF Council or the WAQF Board. It has also said that WAQF by user, the provision that is included in the amendment, is not to be implemented or made any changes so far. So how hopeful are you in hearing in favor of the community?
See, any act made by the parliament or assemblies, if it is contrary to the spirit of the Constitution, which is contradicting the Constitution itself, that needs to be challenged. And here it has been challenged, and Supreme Court has reciprocated very positively. And Supreme Court has asked the government, by interfering in the WAF by user, particularly, do you want to open wounds? Do you want to create confrontation between communities? How will WAF property, which is being used for 300, 400, 500 years, how will they produce the deed of registration or deed of WAF? It is deemed to be WAF because of its usage as a mosque, as a graveyard, or as a different usage pattern, whatever religious pattern they are using. So what do you want to do? First of all, at one place, the Sangha Parivar and the RSS people are trying to create dispute in one or the other historical mosques. They're saying, we want to dig this mosque, see what is there inside. That parallel is happening. At the same time, they have brought in a law amendment to the WAQF Act, where they're creating an opportunity for all the disputers who have communal intent to create a communal confrontation. Through this act, they will get benefited. So I think I welcome the Supreme Court's observations. We have to wait till the final judgment comes out, that they are trying to understand the context, the chronology, where what is happening in Sambal, what is happening in Mathura, what happened in different places, right? So what happened to the Ayodhya judgment which came recently? So why is the government through this act trying to contradict that judgment? Because they very clearly said this is the last dispute, and it is a settled matter when all other religious places are concerned. No religious place can be reopened, right? And if this act comes into effect, then the WAF by user will have no meaning, right? If there is no meaning, then it will open to disputes. If it opens to disputes, then Hindus and Muslims, who are supposed to be united and take this country ahead, will be confronting with each other on the streets. Is this what a responsible government should do? So that is our concern. That is why we are hopeful that Supreme Court will definitely, as observed very rightly in the two hearings they have taken, very rightly they have observed, and we are very confident that court will come out with judgment which will settle these issues, which will reduce the confrontation, which will promote harmony, and which will protect the minority rights and the spirit of the Constitution.
Right. So, there was a former chairman of the State Minorities Commission, Anwar Manipadi. I hope you know about the report where he says that Waqf Board controlled properties were illegally encroached or occupied. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, I know about the Manipadi report. He has done, he says that he has given a report wherein he has named the individuals and says that these people have encroached land. And all these years, the BJP was savior of the WAF lands, and they were trying to say that implement this report and try to prosecute those people who have supposedly or allegedly occupied WAF land, encroached WAF land. But if you see on the contrary, if you see the act, the amendment to the act, it is helping the same alleged occupiers, encroachers. So you can understand the BJP's dual politics. Here they accuse people that you have encroached on WAF land, you have encroached on the WAF land, you have encroached on the WAF land, and then you bring in an amendment to the WAF Act which will help the same encroachers to occupy that land. So how is it helping us? So either you stick with your Anwar Manipadi report and say that this WAF land needs to be saved and these are the encroachers, how it has to be, they have to be prosecuted. How will the action taken against them, or how do you save the WAF land from these encroachers, alleged encroachers, is through this act. Now you are diluting this act and helping these encroachers, alleged encroachers. So this whole political duplicity and double standards of the BJP is only to confuse the society. it is their agenda to take these WAF lands and hand it over to their corporate friends, hand it over to their close crony capitalists, try and weaken this WAF land so that the minorities of the country don't hold any property, a community property. And they are trying to dilute the constitution through this amendment where the minorities and every community, whether it's minority or majority, they have right to manage their institutions. Through this amendment, they have challenged the constitution. It's not against the minorities alone. It's against the constitution.
So farmers across southern states, not only in Karnataka, they have come up with allegations that Waqf board has occupied their land or grabbed their land. These were the allegations. Recently also it came out in news. What do you have to say about that?
Rashmi, I have spoken in detail in Karnataka Assembly on the floor of the House, and I have exposed the lies of the BJP on this subject, where the BJP campaigned across the state and the country that it is farmers versus WAF, and it is farmers versus WAF versus Hindus, right? WAF means Muslim, they are against farmers. WAF means Muslim, they are against Hindus. So with Karnataka statistics, I have very clearly proved that there is 3.5 crore acre, 3.5 crore acres of land which is being tilled and farmed in Karnataka. More than 3 crores and less than 3.5 crores. Okay. And if you have 3 crore plus acres being farmed, right? How much is disputed with the WAF? What is the dispute? The total WAF land in Karnataka was 1,11,000 acres. Total WAF land in the whole state. Here the cultivable land itself is 3 crore plus acres. Among 3 crore plus acres, what is WAF land? 1,11,000 acres. Right. And this, on the contrary, the WAF has lost 84,000 acres for the various land reform acts.
Okay.
That means the land was taken over from the WAF and given to the farmers. And till now, the WAF is being abused. WAF is being labeled as encroachers of farmers' land. The fact of the matter is 84,000 acres of WAF land is gone to the farmers, and we are happy. We have not claimed, we have not cried, we have not said, because farmers are our breadwinners, they are our brothers, let it go. The dispute currently running between the farmers and the WAF is just 4,500 or 700 acres.
Okay.
Out of 3 crore acre cultivable land, the dispute is with 4,500 acres. Is this a WAF versus farmers issue? What is the percentage of dispute among the total cultivable land? So this is a social stigma which the BJP and the Sangha Parivar wants to stick to the Muslim community, right? On the other hand, there are 17,000 acres of land is totally under dispute, out of which 4,500 is with the farmers dispute. The rest of the land, which is 13,000 acres, odd acres, is disputed with general people. And in that, 95% are Muslims.
Okay.
The dispute between Hindu or the Christian or any other community amongst this against the WAF in that 13,000 acres is 5%.
Okay.
So how is it a Hindu versus a Muslim issue? It's a Muslim versus Muslim issue. Through this Amendment Act, they are trying to help the encroachers, which are 95% Muslim, and diluting this act, they are trying to weaken the WAF institutions. And propaganda is that the WAF is against Hindus, and Hindus and WAF have a contentious claim. So this is what is happening across the country, right? So through this amendment in the WAF Act, they will try and create dispute to the undisputed WAF land also and take it and be given to their crony capitalist friends. Or encourage the encroachers to come out with the claims so that the WAF Act is already diluted. The WAF will not be able to defend itself. So this is what the central government is trying to do through this amendment in the WAF Act. So if you take the statistics, WAF is not first or second or third largest landholder in the country.
Yeah, that's
as in propagated in on WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
The total WAF land might not cross 8 to 9 lakh acres in the country, right? Out of what is the country's geographical area. And if you compare what is the property held by WAF, what is the property held by Hindu endowments or the Christian institutions or any other community, WAF is very minor.
Okay.
Right? And WAF is a institution which has been created for the welfare of the community by our forefathers or elders and through the religious belief. Because there is a system in Islam. Through that system it has been created. And now they say they have nothing with religion. This is a property matter. Property matter means this property is given because of the belief in the religion for the cause of WAQF, right? With an intention to help the community.
Right.
So the whole belief system is being twisted through this act by the government and being argued. One, the constitution's mandated rights to every community, including us, is being violated. And second, by saying that it's just a property, nothing to do with religion, to support this snatching away of our rights, they are trying to twist our belief systems itself. That is what we have challenged.
But do you say there are no illegalities in the WAQF board in terms of?
There must be. There must be. That is why you need a stronger act to curtail those illegalities, persecute people who perpetrate these illegalities and do wrong. And instead of strengthening the act, you're diluting the act and say that there are illegalities. Whenever there are violations, wherever there are illegalities, wherever there is corruption, you will bring in stronger laws to
address
curb it, right? So instead of strengthening this act, which was passed in unanimity in 95, then in 2013, right? In 95, leaders like Mr. Advani, Mr. Vajpayee, Sushma Swaraj, everyone were in the parliament, where all in unanimity passed that act. Today, BJP criticizes that act, where their own leaders, tallest leaders who established the parties, the stalwarts have supported that act. And they blame the Muslim community as if we are in majority in the parliament to pass our own act however we want. It was the collective wisdom of the House, represented by BJP, by Congress, by left, by right, every other party, by Janta, everybody together, which passed the 95 Act. And 2013 also, it was supported by all the political parties. Threadbarely, it was discussed. The Act was strengthened. And the BJP said in their manifesto, in the election manifesto, the BJP has always claimed that we'll strengthen the WAQF institution, we'll get the encroachments vacated. So now, with the new regime, they are doing the opposite of what they have committed to the people.
Right.
And try and make it into a WAQF versus Muslim versus Hindu issue. As I've explained, if you take the data, it is not a Hindu-Muslim issue. If you take the data, it's not a Muslim against farmers issue. 4,000 acres in 3 crore acres in Karnataka. Does this matter? And what I has pained is, especially people in parliament, the members of parliament from BJP, lied openly on the floor of the House that in Bijapur 11,000 acres of land, 1,100 acres of land is claimed as WAQF. When we inquired, it is 11 acres where the contention and where the dispute is. Where is 11 acres and where is 1100 acres? How can members of parliament from Karnataka and other places in the BJP take up Bijapo and create a false story, mislead the house, and get away with it? Right?
Right.
So this is very unfortunate.
So coming to the most hot topic and the most debated one currently in the state, the Caste Census report is actually called as Socio-Economic and Education Survey Report 2015. What do you have to say about that? The Muslim population is over 75 lakhs. They're given 8% reservation in OBC category currently. And yeah.
See, this caste census is not only the enumeration of numbers, it is an X-ray to understand the socio-economic and educational background of the people, right? How the wealth is distributed, how the opportunities provided, is equal opportunity being provided to the communities, what is their economic status, what is the social status, what is the educational level of these communities. And in a society where you don't have equality, and if you want a egalitarian society, if you want a society with social equality, dignity, then it is the constitution mandates that we conduct this kind of service, collect the data, and the government of the day should formulate policies, create laws through the assemblies and parliament to address these anomalies in the society, right? And it is very important for us also in Karnataka to understand what is the condition of the society. Is the wealth being concentrated into a few hands? Is the power, the wealth of the country concentrated in few communities? What is that, right? So this survey very clearly identifies the numbers of those communities. Then it identifies what is the social, educational, economic background, and it has recommended so many recommendations they have given, where the government now needs to accept that and going forward implement these kind of recommendations. And I am for it. We are in 2025, and if still people based on caste, they're discriminated, still if they don't get equal opportunities just because they come from different backgrounds, social backgrounds, and still the whole society's environment is built in such a way that wealth and power is going towards few, and the larger populations are left with nothing. They are living a life of hand to mouth, not only economically, but also if they don't get the dignity they deserve as human beings in the society, if they don't get the equal opportunities, few are more fortunate, few are less fortunate, this discrimination has to go. So we need to start somewhere.
Right. Sir, but on ground, when I spoke to different people of Jain community or Buddhists, they all feel and they all say that Congress government is only focusing on Muslim minorities. They are being sidelined. What do you have to say about this?
I mean, this is the propaganda of the BJP. When we got 4,500 crores for the minority development in the budget, last budget, it was not only for Muslim community, for all the minorities, for Jains, for the Buddhists, for the Christians, so all together. Although the bigger minority is Muslim, so proportionately, definitely, it might benefit us. But what was the propaganda of the BJP? That this is a Muslim budget. You know what is the total outlay of the budget? Was 4 lakh 10,000 crore. Out of 4 lakh 10,000 crore, if we get 4,000 crore, so what is the 1%?
1%.
So if we get 1%, and we are a population of 14%, we are also taxpayers. We are also paying GST. We also have right on the state treasury, because our sweat and blood money is also there as tax, right? 14% of the population from the minority community and Muslim community and like other communities have also paid tax. So is it not our right to get back a little fund to educate our children? Create an environment where the Muslims and Hindus can live like equals with dignity. And if the Congress government giving 4,500 crores to minority development, has it ignored any other community? If you discriminate against any other community, you can say this. This is the propaganda of the BJP, and few people would like to accept it gladly, even though they know that this is not true. So Congress always tries to balance, create social harmony, creates social equality by giving opportunities and providing that kind of assistance which different communities need. And that is what they have done. And it's a false propaganda that they're doing only for Muslims, right? And but BJP would not stop on spreading these lies. Are we not equal citizens of this country? Are we not taxpayers? Are we not entitled to get help from the government when all other communities are getting? Right?
Yeah.
So I don't find anything wrong if the government tries to help all the underprivileged communities, including the Muslim community.
Right. The Congress government passed the Greater Bengaluru Governance Bill in month of March. So it was sent to the governor, and then there were clarifications asked. So currently, what is the status of the bill?
The Greater Bengaluru Governance Bill is pending with the governor, and we are confident that he will give his approval to the bill because when he had asked for clarifications, we have very well given him all the clarifications. I'm happy that I'll be happy that to tell you that I'm sure he has to get satisfied, because that is not a single provision which is contradicting or confronting the constitutional ethos. Right? We have created a sound bill within the parameters of the ambit of the constitutional values, and there is not a single article which violates any of the articles of the constitution. And the governor has to do it because Bangalore very badly needs a proper governing law through which proper governing structures can be placed and Bangalore can be managed. So today's law is insufficient. Today's administrative structures like BBMP have collapsed in its own way, and Bangalore's condition cannot improve until you bring in proper administrative structures in place with proper laws to back it. So that is what we are trying to do. If it is in the interest of Bangalore, it will be signed, or the Bangalore city will suffer. Congress is not going to suffer. The government is not going to get setback. The Bangalore city will get a setback if this bill is not signed and approved by the government.
But sir, the elections are delayed for quite long now, and you think these infrastructure issues have to be addressed. For this, don't you think elections have to be held, elected body has to be put up?
The kind of structure Bangalore is being governed with, you have election, you don't have election. This structure of huge BBMP for 786 square kilometers with one mayor of 11 months and one BBMP commissioner cannot be managed. It is inhuman, and it is so unwieldy and unscientifically structured that Bangalore is today in a position where we cannot fill potholes. With one heavy rain, half of Bangalore got submerged when our same BJP friends were governing. So what is the issue? The issue is you need a good law to create structures, administrative structures. and you need to have multiple administrative structures. 25% of Karnataka state's population resides in Bangalore city. And if you cannot build administrative structures and through that govern the city, how will you improve the city? How will you prepare for the future challenges? So Bangalore needs a new law, a new administrative structure, decentralized, more transparent, right? And the bigger it is centralized. You have smaller administrative structures, it will be decentralized, more transparent. That is what we intend to do. That is what we have proposed in the bill. And if the governor doesn't sign, then it is unfortunate for Bangalore. If it signs, definitely Bangalore will get good, robust administrative structure to govern.
So don't you think it'll bring unequal development due to wherever there is revenue more in any part?
All that things have been addressed. All those concerns have been addressed. There is no question of more revenue and less revenue. The bill, since I was the chairman of the drafting committee of the bill, we have very clearly said that how the Bangalore city needs to be restructured. You have to have revenue equality, right? You have to maintain the delimitation in the restructuring in such a way that all the revenues are equally distributed.
Okay.
Still, if there is revenue deficit in something, it is the responsibility of the state government to fulfill that revenue gap. So no corporation will suffer. So every corporation is autonomous, independent, and definitely there will be revenue surplus. In case one or the other corporation is revenue deficit, the state government is mandated to fulfill that revenue gap. So how will the corporation suffer? So there is no question of that. We have taken care of all these concerns in the bill.
The opposition has been saying there will be non-Kannadigas as mayors. How do you address that issue? Because see, every other day we see on social media how people from Hindi states come and force us to speak Hindi. They tell us you should learn Hindi even though you're in Bengaluru.
BJP is a party like a chameleon, right? They change their color. This is the party which pushes Hindi on our system, right? They are a Hindi Hindi region party which don't sensitively consider South Indian culture. They try to push Hindi in one place, right? They want Hindi in everything. They want Hindi in English textbooks also. If you see the recent textbooks NCERT has brought, the English textbooks also have Hindi names. How is it justified? And today also on every South Indian state they want to push Hindi through NEP and through other means. And here they have a problem. They say that Hindi person might become mayor of one of these corporation, non-Kannadiga might become, right? So see the double standards of BJP, right? I am confident that in Karnataka, Kannadigas will be leading in every sector. And anybody who has migrated to Karnataka or Bangalore from different parts of the country, we have welcomed them. The only request the people of Karnataka has, please respect the culture here and also don't force us to learn any other language wherever from you are coming from. You also learn a little Kannada so that we all can gel in a seamless manner, because we are all Indians ultimately, right?
True.
So BJP has to come out and tell openly, right? Why at one stroke they impose Hindi on us, and here what is the problem about Hindi speaking people they have?
So what about, there are long-term allegations, like since the government came to power, that the guarantee schemes, the money spent on guarantee schemes has dried up the state treasury, as a result of which the Congress government doesn't have money to, improve the infrastructure of the city. There are pots.
See, the budget very clearly, we have invested the kind of money in the capital investments, which is more than the central government. the percentage of capital investment in Karnataka has grown 38% from the previous budget, right? And the percentage of money in the budget which you have invested for capital expenditure, which is almost 90,000 crores now this year, the percentage wise it is more than the central government's budget, right? So it is not true. Two, why it is necessary to spend 52,000 crores on the guarantee schemes is very clear. One, from the last 11 years of Mr. Modi's government, the unemployment rate is highest in the last 40 years. The inflation is highest in the last 15-20 years. Unemployment, inflation, and fall of exports is rampant. Right? Imports are high. What is the value of rupee versus the dollar?
89 or
89, 90 rupees. So if you see, the economy is not supporting the propaganda of the Modi government, right? In this situation, the kind of hardships the common people are going through is unprecedented. And if you don't give them relief through different measures, the whole economy would collapse. So what money we are giving it to the underprivileged people, through that it is coming back to the markets for small and medium scale industries. Through that it is coming back to the states in terms of tax, right? And on the other hand, when we have started free buses to the women, where we are giving free education to the women up to post-graduation, all these are Congress government's programs. We are pushing the women to come out and work. Earlier, they used to say half of the salary is to go in commuting, right? Now, women are coming out and saving their salaries because the commute is free. So, 50% of the population, that is women which were sitting at home, right, are coming out and working in industries, working out on different economic sectors, which is fueling the growth of Karnataka state. Why are we 2% ahead in our GSDP versus the GDP of the country? That is because here we are encouraging the women to come out of the house and contribute in the economic development. So you cannot see this in a very small perspective. You have to see it holistically. What our guarantee schemes are doing is fueling and helping the overall industry.
But on the other hand, don't you think the infrastructure in city is crumbling?
No, we have identified the infrastructural issues. We are in our government, Congress government, investing 1 lakh crore in Bangalore city's development now. We are working on the peripheral ring road now. We are working on double deckers on the metros, so that the ease of we are creating one more layer of roads above the metro pillars. We have finalized almost the elevated corridors, right? We are working on metros, peripheral roads, elevated corridors, and we have started the process to have tunnel roads into the city. So we are doing different kind of exercises to decongest the city, bring in infrastructure, and keep Bangalore city one of the, which is the growth engine in Karnataka, in India, as #1 city which can push country's progress to a different level.
Yeah, that's all, sir. Thank you for speaking to Crowd First.